I moved here to Philly from Boston, where I had lived my entire adult life up until that point, where I had like a very deep community of political organizer friends, weird friends, other weird friends. And during hot vac summer, I accidentally got into a serious relationship with someone who lived in Philadelphia. And so that is roughly how I ended up here. And I was very excited to move here. I got here July 15th last year. And on my first full day in Philly, I got COVID for the first time. 3 weeks later, I had a bicycle accident and broke both of my elbows and had to do a bunch of physical therapy. I'm great now, like, we're good. Then I got mono for the first time at the age of 31 because I wasn't a very fun teenager, I guess. And the temp to perm job I had taken that I was really excited about turned out to not be permanent, and so I no longer had a job when I didn't expect to. So things were pretty rough. My relationship was still going well. My relationship with my boyfriend's cat was going even better. Like, things were good in some ways and terrible in others. And then it was the Super Bowl. We went to watch the Eagles at our friend's house, and obviously everyone knows how that went. And then I went home, and my bicycle was gone. So I locked my bicycle to the front of like my landlady's sort of metal thing. This isn't like Passyunk Square, so you guys know what I'm talking about. And someone had cut through the actual like fence, the railing of the fence, which is like a really good marketing thing for kryptonite locks, actually, because they didn't even try. So I'm like, okay, my bike is gone. My favorite possession, the single most expensive object I own, which I also didn't pay for, which kind of makes it worse in a way. That's another story. So I do all the things you're supposed to do. I go looking around at all of the bike stores in South Philly that sell stolen bikes. There were at least 3. I post everywhere on Facebook. I joined the Philly Stolen Bikes Facebook group, which is very active and large. And I basically resigned myself to the fact that my bike is gone. Some of my friends start talking about like collecting money because I'm unemployed to buy me a new bike, which is lovely. Then one day, as I'm moving out of my apartment to move in with my partner, Adam, who I moved to Philly to be with, I had been cleaning, and I look at my phone, and I have a bunch of Facebook notifications that I have DMs from people I'm not friends with, which is a little scary. And then someone has messaged me saying, hey, I think someone posted your bike on the Philly Stolen Bikes Facebook group. And so I go over the Facebook group, and there's this post by a man I will call Trevor, who is sort of a Gen X former bike shop guy turned dad. And his hobby is taking pictures of improperly locked bicycles and posting them on the Facebook group with the tag pre-stolen to sort of shame people out of parking their bikes incorrectly. So there is my bike, which has been locked very incorrectly with a folding lock, where if you just lifted the folding lock up, you could take the bicycle. And I freak out. I message Trevor, and when he doesn't respond, this isn't a very good, he's actually very nice, so I don't know why I'm using a fake name for him. But so when I message him, and when he doesn't respond within 10 minutes, I'm like, it's like gonna be gone. I have to do something. And I notice that he is currently a real estate agent. So I'm like, he definitely has a phone number online. So I look up his phone number, I call him, he picks up immediately. He does not question why I have his phone number. And he tells me, oh yeah, I saw it in this location, and I'm driving there now. I'm coming home from work. I'll meet you there. I'm gonna send my teenage son to go surveil the bicycle so we make sure it doesn't move. And I'm like, okay, you're like stolen bike Batman. This is great. So I get a car to West Philly with my partner, Adam, who I should mention, because it's relevant later on, Adam is from New Jersey, and he's very from New Jersey. So we get there, and the bike is parked in front of this Vietnamese restaurant in West Philly that shall remain nameless, partly because I don't remember the name. And I'm waiting, and eventually this kid, my bicycle has been moved into sort of a weird side building, and it's now behind a locked door, which Feels like he should have done that in the first place if he was gonna lock it so poorly. But so the kid who has the bike comes out, and I'm like, hey, I think this is my bicycle. It's a very distinctive bike. I'm sure that you didn't know it was stolen. I'm like, I would really like to have it back. I can prove that it's mine. And he just refuses to talk to me, refuses to say where or when he got the bicycle. And I'm like, did you get the bike before or after the Super Bowl? And he just won't answer. So wait outside for a really long time. It's getting very cold. And eventually the kid comes out with this older guy who says he owns the restaurant and is the employer of the kid who has my bike. And he starts talking about how he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't know it was stolen, da da da. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. He didn't do anything wrong. It's fine. So eventually I convinced him to unlock the door and bring me into this weird house. And they're sort of shining flashlights in my face because there's no electricity in the weird little house. And basically, it's my bike. But after that, it's very exciting. It is my bicycle. It's a very distinctive bicycle. And so after that, the restaurant owner asks if I will write and sign a statement saying I got my bike back voluntarily. And I'm like, sure. Sure. You just didn't do anything wrong. And as I'm in there, we're waiting in the restaurant for him to bring a piece of paper. He's photocopying the thing I signed. I'm chatting with the kid who had my bike, and he's like, oh, how did it get stolen? And I kind of explain, and I'm like, yeah, and it's a big bummer because I'm unemployed right now, and I can't afford a new bike. And so his face just falls. He's this skinny, cute, 19-year-old kid. And I'm like, oh, but it wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't know. And eventually things end. The owner has me and the kid take a photo in front of the bicycle to further prove that I got it back. And I'm like, sure, this is normal. And eventually I also offer the kid, I'm like, here, I know you spent a lot of money on the bike, so here's $200. And he refuses to take it. I eventually say, just take the $100. My landlady gave me my deposit back in cash because it's South Philly. We're walking away with my bike, with my boyfriend Adam, with Travis, the bike Batman. And they're like, hey, you realize you just gave $100 to the person who stole your bike, right? And I was like, oh, that makes sense. And that could have been a moment where this story of something coming out well in Philly for me turned negative again. But there was part of me that was like, you know what? I can do this. I can live in this city. Even if I don't get everything right, even if it's hard, even if I maybe make naive decisions, maybe if I'm kind of a mark, according to my New Jersey boyfriend, things will go okay. I have community here, and I have my bike back, which is great.